Hey, welcome back everybody to Larry's Fountain Pens, and I'm Larry. Today I am going to go over a few tips how I maintain my fountain pens and some of the do's and don'ts and reminders on how to care for your pens. This can be a lengthy video, so you might want to grab a drink, get comfortable, and relax, and be patient. Remember, these are mine, not anybody else's. First of all, let me start off with writing habits. And I fit in this category. If your writing is really bad, doesn't look good, hard to read, or if you're not happy with your writing, some people think, well, I'll just get a more expensive pen. Well, you can get a Mont Blanc 149 and pay $800-900. But this isn't going to help you with your handwriting. Why? Well, it's just not. Here is a Lamy Safari with a extra fine nib. That's not going to help you with your handwriting, and neither with this urine with the extra fine nib. The secret is into the individual that's handling the fountain pen. And like I said, I'm one of those folks that fit in the category, which I'm trying to correct this year. I tend to write too fast, so after a while my writing looks really bad and hard to read. So what I've been doing is taking my time and writing slower. But then again, I catch myself speeding up. So it's kind of a war with me not to continue the bad habits that I've had for decades. And I really have been working on it. I have made some progress. But it's not the fountain pen. You can buy whatever fountain pen you want, and that's not going to improve your handwriting. Now, there are some nibs that will help your handwriting look a bit better. But to get those on that cursive writing, those particular shapes that you're looking for, like your B's and your L's and your H's, etc., the A's and C's, all that in the cursive, it takes work, it takes practice, it takes patience, which again, I'm working on. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. First, I'm going to use the Mont Blanc 149 that has a double broad nib. I'm going to write slow. Now for me that's better because I tend to write like this. And you can see when I write fast, it looks messy. And it can look worse than that. So this is a big improvement here. Now, that's a double broad nib. Now here's a vanishing point with a broad nib. And I'm going to continue using the Mont Blanc name. And as you can see, it's a little bit better, but still, I tend to go a bit faster as I was writing into my letters right in there. So, fast. Now I'm going to take it slower again, see if I can improve it. And for me, this is a big improvement. Now let's take it with a different nib, the 1.5 Edison, okay, pen. But again, I'm just continue using the Mont Blanc. And then fast. As I write slower, I'll get a better writing than I would then on writing fast. But using the 1.1, it doesn't look that bad. But to me, this would look better. This I can probably get away with. But I'm still learning. And we'll do the Pelican with a medium nib. Slow, now fast. And you can see the difference like in the C's right there. So it's still better when I take my time to write slow. Now we're going to go with the online extra fine nib. And this is out of ink. I apologize. Finally ran out of ink, so I'll go ahead and go with the
urine
extra fine nib. And fast. And again, writing slower does help me than writing fast. So again, it's all about the individual practicing, taking their time, focusing on their handwriting. And that's what I'm trying to do. I do have some books that I look at and I practice, and I'm trying to get some of that out. I carry with me from time to time, and I do use periodically, but not enough. Real quick, I'll just show you just a few on your the letters I was talking about. These are the small letters in cursive writing. And this is, am I ever going to get this good? Probably not. But at least I'm going to try to get better than where I'm at today to improve my handwriting. I'm going to do my best because, I love to journal. I love to write. And I do that a whole lot. And to be honest with you, I need to work on this a whole lot more in my free time. Because I do want to get better when I do my writing. That's just me. But the whole thing about this video was, some people think if I get a Mont Blanc or a Pelican or some high dollar pen that it's going to make my awful writing just look fantastic. Looks great. Not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, it's definitely not going to happen. Been there, done that, doing that. It's up to each of us to take the time, if we want to learn And to achieve that level, to get better, we're going to really have to work at it. Anything in life that we do, we're going to have to work at it to get better, to achieve whatever level we're looking to achieve, right? We have goals, right? Set your goals. Some of us set our goals real high. Some of us set our goals low. I'm the kind of person that always set my goals high, and I aim for that goal. So that's, again, it's not about the fountain pen. It's about the individual who handles the fountain pen. And once again, let me say this again. Different nibs may help improve the messy handwriting some. But don't forget, if you're really messy like me, a different size nib, let's say like the Mont Blanc double broad or just a broad nib or 1.5, if I write too fast, it's going to crush all my lines, my letters together, and it's going to be really hard to read. So when I use those nibs, though, what it helps me do, it helps me slow down, because I know if I write fast, it's going to look like garbage. So I have to slow down. And at least I'm trying to practice what I preach. And I'll be the first to admit my handwriting does need improvement. And I've been trying for the last few years to do it, but I wasn't as focused or as dedicated as I am today as of right now. And I've started this year really working to try to get better. Am I ever going to get better? We'll see. Well, that's one of my tips about writing. Now, about pen maintenance. I've been asked, how do I take care of my pens? Well, this is me, how I take care of my pens, not about anybody else, how they do it, or any pen company, how they recommend doing it. This is me, how I've been doing it for the last 4 years. When I'm done with a pen and runs out of ink, I may refill that pen with the same ink color. So I'm not going to wash it out. I'm going to leave it alone, because that's not going to hurt my pen. I'm using the same ink, so there's no need for me to wash it out. I may do that 2 or 3 times, but for me, after the 3rd time, I guess it's just a hygiene habit, a pen hygiene habit of mine. I will wash it out. I'll get that nib and I will take it off, and I hold it under the faucet in the bathroom, and I let that water run down and clean out any ink that's in the nib and feed. For me, it works great. And then I get my bulb syringe full of water, and I squeeze it gently down through the feed nib till the water is clear. Then I'm good to go. I don't use hot water. I just use room temperature water. Some recommend to use distilled water. That's cool if you want to use distilled water and flush. I just use plain H2O. Been doing it for the last 4 years. I'm fine. I'm good to go with it. So that's one way. Now, when I am going to change ink colors, no matter, if I'm going from blue to black to red to orange to green to yellow to purple to pink, whatever, I'm going to have to wash that pen out real good. I'll do the same process, but, I'll use that bulb syringe even more to make sure that the water starts coming out clear through the feed and nib. Now, one thing, let me get a converter here. When you clean out the converter, Everybody has their own way of doing it. Right up in here, usually is where the ink gets caught up in there. Well, I'll suck a little water up in there with the syringe, and then I'll go ahead and put it all the way back, and then I'll do it like that, and then I'll expel all the water in again, and then I'll get some more water in there, do it again, expel, then I'll get a full convert of water, then I'll go ahead and expel it out, and then I'll hold on to this converter tightly and make sure that I get all the ink out. Now sometimes, well, all the time, what I forgot to mention, on my nib, after I flush it out with water real good, I do kind of shake it like that. But I make sure I hold on to that grip real well, and not to hit, make sure I don't hit the sink. You know, just think if I was to hit the sink with that kind of pressure going down, it's going to ruin your nib. So you want to be careful when you do that. That's how I do my pens. I've never had any problems the last 4 years, and that's just me. Another thing that I do, that it's a must, inside the cap of your pen, there is ink in there. Yeah, there is. There's ink. I'll either get the faucet and flush it and wash it out good, but there's still ink in that cap. So I'll put a little in there, and I put my thumb over it, and then I'll shake the cap and get that ink out, and I'll do it again. Sometimes I may use this little pipelet right here and get water and put it in there and do it, and then get in there and suck it all out. But I want to make sure that this cap is clear of any ink, and then I may get a napkin and do that to it real good. Also, what I may do is get a Q-tip and just stick it in there and do it round and round. As you can see, it's got ink in there, and it's in there. So when I wash it out, that's what I do. I always get a Q-tip. Make sure that there's no ink in there. That's just me, how I am. So, how long do I leave a pen after it's empty with ink? Well, the pen may be empty with ink, but I can assure you that you'll still have some ink left over in that feed. So I try to clean up that day, or if I'm able to at the time that I run out of ink, wash it out good, or wash it out that day, or within the 3-day period, I try to get mine cleaned out. I've got, 4 in the bathroom that are needing to be cleaned out, and I have a few already here that are going to have to be cleaned out. Another thing, when you are using your pens and you're not actually writing with your pen, and you leave your pen on the table, it can do this. And if you're not careful, it can roll off to the floor. And if it lands like this, nib first, it's going to damage and ruin your nib. Been there, done that. So, and then also, your nib could dry out. Depends on the pen, on the ink. Okay? So these are all possibles that could happen. So, what I always do is, I write and write and write. Then I may lay it down and look something up. Then I'll pick it up and write. But, I just don't leave it on cap for like 20 minutes or more than 5 minutes. That's just how I've always geared myself, how I want to do what I do with my pens. This is how I interact with my pens. I'm very picky with my pens. I don't care if they're $1.49 or $1,000 pen. I treat all my pens equally because I care about all my pens equally. Oh, I know, I get it. This $800, $900 pen compared to this $1.78 pen. Oh yeah, you can feel and tell the difference between this Mont Blanc and this Urine Fountain Chinese pen. This is super nice quality. The materials used, the trim work that's used, the nib, everything that's in this pen is quality. Everything on this pen is just standard plastic, steel nib. You know, it's the kind of pen, if you break it or lose it, it's not going to hurt your heart. You can still get another one. Okay? So it's a big difference. And some people have told me, Larry, you could buy 500 Gin House instead of a Mont Blanc. Nah, not for me. A Mont Blanc is a Mont Blanc. Same with a vanishing point. Not all of us like the same pens. Remember, not all of us have the same habits of cleaning and maintenance that I do. I get that, but this is me. The clip, some people find that very annoying. I don't. I like the clip. The pen is very handy. It's one of my favorite pens. On the Lamy, some people hate the grip, but for me, this grip works really well for me. It's perfect for my fingers, so that's helpful for me. So, you know, there's always something in a pen that either we like or dislike. The Pelican M205. It's a small pen. Some people don't like it off the bat. Small pen don't like it. But when you post the pen, it's a full-size pen. This has a piston filler and a steel nib, but it really writes extremely well. I'm just showing you the difference between my likes and what other people may not like. Get into. Now, the Edison. What I like about the Edison is everything about it as well. It's great colors, feels great, big, girthy, cigar-shaped pen, nice 1.5 nib, steel nib on it, and you know, you can unscrew the nib and put another one in there, same as you can for the M205. So those are easy to deal with. And the vanishing point, their nib is an easy exchange. You can just take it out. This is the converter. You just pull that out, and then when you just buy another nib, the whole unit comes together. So that works well for me. So again, pen hygiene for me is a must. Because if you don't maintain your fountain pens properly, eventually they're going to clog up. Oh, how do they clog up? If you use like shimmering inks or sparkles in it, and you really need to get that feed cleaned out, I use a soft toothbrush and go over the feed underwater with the water running and wipe it real gently. Nice gentle strokes to make sure I'm getting all those particles out of that feed. And then I do check my nib periodically from time to time, because when you write with the nib, the fibers from the paper can get into the nib, the tip of it, into the times right in there. And that could make your pen kind of writing off a bit. So, I do maintain the outside of my pens as well. I give them a polish every once in a while. I have a couple of different polishes I use, and I've done videos on them. I've done videos on polishing the pens. I've done videos on cleaning your pens, flushing your pens, the nibs. I've done it all. It's all on my YouTube channel, every step on how to maintain your pens. Some may disagree, but that's okay. This is my video because this is how I take care of my pens. And for me, this is my heart. My fountain pens, I love my pens. I have a decent, fair collection, but they're just not a collection. They're pens that I use. I may not have a high, elaborate collection, L5s and $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 pens, but that's okay. I don't have those kind of funds to buy pens like that. When I buy a pen like a Mont Blanc, a lot of money, even a vanishing point, I have to save and save and save. Sometimes I sell pens and save till I finally get the pen I want. So I thought I'd do this video about the handwriting tips because I've had some serious emails from people telling me that they have horrible handwriting and they're thinking about getting a Pelican or a Mont Blanc because they're told that the better their fountain pen is, their handwriting is going to improve automatically. That's not going to happen. Nope. It's just not. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. If you want to spend the money and buy that kind of pen because you think your handwriting is going to improve overnight, no. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to work at it. You're going to have to practice. Yeah, you can buy an expensive fountain pen. It's your money. And you can use that fountain pen and practice your handwriting. You can. But please don't get discouraged or disillusioned in your fountain pen and thinking that your fountain pen will let you down because the way it writes, it's not your fountain pen. It's you. It's me. It's the way we write. And like I do everything fast. And, when I catch myself going like this, stop, slow down, get up, Larry, walk around a little bit, then go back to it and try it again. Patience. And patience is something I don't really have. And at my age, I'm learning all this again. I'm trying to absorb it. I do watch lessons on cursive writing. Yep. Because I want to learn. Am I ever going to get to that point where it's going to look exactly like this? Probably not. But it's going to look decent enough where at least I will be able to read my own writing, and people who get my letters can read my writing. So I hope these pointers on cursive writing and buying pens to help you with writing and a little bit about pen maintenance kind of helps those people are getting into the fountain pen groove, or people that are having problems with their cursive writing that want to break away from printing and actually get into cursive writing. I hope this helps you a little bit. But hey, like I said before, I'm guilty. My penmanship sucks. And that's okay. I am doing something to try to correct my handwriting. So, I'm also, this is the last thing, learning how to flex. That's another big thing that I want to learn to do. Well, I'm going to cut it off at that. So, hey, thank you for joining me today on this long video about cursive writing, and the tips on pen maintenance. Okay? I hope this helped. You can leave your comments below. Be civil. Until then, be safe and don't text and drive, my friends. Peace. Later.